Assalamu alaikum. This is our 23rd lecture of managerial economics, and the topic that we are discussing is linear programming. In our previous lecture, we have introduced the linear programming problem and its assumptions, properties and applications, and we have also explained how to formulate the linear programming problem. Now, once the problem is formulated, the next step is solution. In our previous lecture, we were solving a numerical example, and we have seen that first of all, as far as the solution is concerned, the first step is to specify the objective function. The second step is to specify the structural constraints. Once the problem is formulated, the next step is solution. Solution में आपको previous lecture में हमने बताया था कि हम इसको ग्राफिकली भी सॉल्व कर सकते हैं अगर the decision variables are, the number of the decision variable is 2. If it is more than 2, then it will become very difficult to solve it graphically. और इसके अलावा इसमें जो दूसरा मेथड है अलजेब्रिक मेथड, वो सिम्प्लेक्स एल्गोरिथम है, जिसको मैंने आपसे कहा था कि वो काफ़ी टीडियस और इसमें बहुत लेंथी कैलकुलेशंस होती हैं, और इसमें हम जो है इसमें कंप्यूटर सॉफ्टवेयर जो है वो यूज़ करते हैं. यहाँ पे हम इसको ग्राफिकली, जो प्रॉब्लम हमने स्टार्ट किया था पिछले लेक्चर में, उसको हम पहले ग्राफिकली सॉल्व करेंगे और उसके बाद अलजेब्रिकली भी सॉल्व करेंगे यूजिंग अनदर मेथड विच इज़ कॉल्ड एक्सट्रीम पॉइंट मेथड. So first of all, we have started graphically solving this problem. As you can see it on screen, we have already identified the objective function, all the constraints and also the non-negativity constraints. यहाँ पे जो हमारे पास problem थी, firm is producing two products, that is X and Y, and it is subject to the constraints which are the input constraints, that is input A, B, C. और यहाँ पे हमने इनको जो है स्पेसिफाई कर दिया था, और अब हम इसको सॉल्व करने लगे थे, जिसमें कि हमने अब जो हमारे जो कंस्ट्रेंट्स हैं उनको हमने पहले आपको बताया दे आर इन द फॉर्म ऑफ लीनियर इनइक्वालिटीज. सो वी प्लॉट दीज कंस्ट्रेंट्स बाय कंसिडरिंग देम एज इक्वेशंस. उसको हम प्लॉट करेंगे, जैसे कि पहला जो कंस्ट्रेंट है, एज यू कैन सी इट ऑन स्क्रीन, दिस इज़ 4x + 2y इज़ लेस देन और इक्वल टू 32, और इसको हमने जो है इसको प्लॉट किया था बाय सेटिंग x = 0 एंड देन बाय सेटिंग y = 0. वंस वी फाइंड द y इंटरसेप्ट एंड द x इंटरसेप्ट, वी कैन ईजिली जॉइन दीज टू पॉइंट्स, और इसके बाद हमारे पास जो एक लाइन है वो आप स्क्रीन पे देख सकते हैं. Now look at this curve. You can see that it is a straight line, and here we have found the 2 points. अगर हम ये assume करें that the firm is not producing X at all, then यहाँ पे जो constraint है हमारे पास, इसकी जो आप देख सकते हैं points, if the firm is not producing X at all, then it can produce 16 units of Y, and if it is not producing Y at all, then 8 units of X can be produced. और लाइन के ऊपर जो भी कॉम्बिनेशंस हैं, डिफरेंट कॉम्बिनेशंस ऑफ एक्स वाई, वो शो कर रहे हैं कि डिफरेंट कॉम्बिनेशन से वो एक्स और वाई की जो है किस तरह से प्रोडक्शन जो है यहाँ पे होगी. ऑल द पॉइंट्स फॉलोइंग ऑन द लाइन एंड ऑल द पॉइंट्स दैट आर टूवर्ड्स द लेफ्ट ऑफ दिस लाइन आर द पार्ट ऑफ फीजिबल सोल्यूशन. ये जो रीजन है हमारे पास आता है, जो एरिया शेडेड है, और जो लाइन है वो हमारा फीजिबल रीजन कहलाता है, और इट इज़ कॉल्ड फीजिबल स्पेस. यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं कि जो प्रॉब्लम है उसको हमने जो कंस्ट्रेंट है उसको जो हमने यहाँ पे ड्रॉ किया है, तो सारे पॉइंट्स जो कि लाइन पर हैं और जो लाइन से नीचे हैं वो सब हमारे फीजिबल रीजन के अंदर आएंगे. नाउ we have 2 more constraints, and we will plot these constraints in the similar fashion, that is by finding the x intercepts and the y intercept. We can easily plot these constraints, and by using this procedure we can find our feasible region. Next slide में आप देख रहे हैं कि हमने फिर second constraint जो है उसको प्लॉट किया है, और second constraint जो था that was x + y इक्वल टू और लेस देन 10. अगर फर्म जो है वो y का कोई भी यूनिट प्रोड्यूस नहीं करेगी, देन x विल बी इक्वल टू 10. और सिमिलरली इफ़ द फर्म प्रोड्यूसिंग ओनली y, देन जो x जो है दैट विल बी इक्वल टू 10, और अगर कोई भी यूनिट वो x का नहीं प्रोड्यूस कर रही, देन y विल बी इक्वल टू 10. So joining these 2 points we get this constraint. इस constraint को हम जो है draw कर लेंगे और इसी तरह से जैसे हमने पहले कहा है that all the points on the constraint line and towards the left of the constraint they fall into the feasible region. The reason is that our inequality is of the form equal to or less than. तो जो भी points less than के area में आएंगे that falls below the line. तो इसी तरह से यहाँ पे जब हम second constraint को plot करेंगे और third constraint जो है, in third constraint you can see that this is 3y, that is for input C. The constraint is 3y equal to or less than 21. This input is not required in the production of X, and 3 units of input C are required to produce 1 unit of Y. Therefore, we can write here 3y equal to 21. इसको हम plot करेंगे और in other words this is equal to y equal to 7, and this you can see this constraint graphically as a horizontal straight line. Now we have plotted all 3 constraints and you can see that now the feasible region is even further it is limited because it is satisfying all 3 constraints. और ये जो shaded area है और इसकी जो boundary है, this is the boundary of this shaded region, and the shaded region itself, it is included in the feasible region या feasible area जो है, that is the area of feasible solutions. Here you can see that there are the boundary. If we look at the boundary of this region, we can see that there are sharp corners or kinks in it, और इसमें जो ये sharp corners हैं, they are the result of intersection of any 2 constraints or the intersection of one of the axes and one of the constraints. तो इस तरह से different जो intersections हैं वहाँ पे हमारे पास जो है sharp corners या जो है kinks हम देख सकते हैं. These are also called extreme points. These extreme points or these sharp corners are actually one of these corner is the optimal solution. The reason is that we are saying we have assumed that the objective function is linear and also all the constraints are linear inequalities. Therefore, the solution will be a corner point. यहाँ पे इस फिगर को अगर आप देखते हैं तो यहाँ पे हमारे पास there are as many as 5 corner points including the point of origin, but obviously we will exclude the point of origin here as it is a problem of profit maximization, and at point of origin x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0, therefore the profit will be equal to 0. So इस point को maximization के problem में हम exclude कर देते हैं. Remaining जो points हैं उनको हम बाद में consider करते हैं, लेकिन इससे पहले अब जो next point है graphical solution जो है उसमें next point हमारे पास है कि हम जो है objective function को इसमें incorporate करेंगे. That is, we are going to bring in the objective function here. Now our objective function is, this is given by the equation pi equal to 12x plus 9y. जब हम यहाँ पे objective functions को figure में incorporate करेंगे तो आप देख सकते हैं that we have predetermined levels of profit, that is and these are presented by different successive isoprofit lines, that is $36, $72, $108 and so on. हमारा जो ऑब्जेक्टिव फंक्शन है यहाँ पे जैसे मैंने अभी आपको बताया, इसको हम जनरल फॉर्म में भी लिख सकते हैं. इन जनरल फॉर्म वी कैन राइट और रीराइट और ऑब्जेक्टिव फंक्शन एज पाई इक्वल टू ax plus by, or this means that the profit contribution of product X is equal to $a and profit contribution per unit of product Y is $b. Now solving it in terms of y, that is we are going to express it in the slope intercept form, so that by will be equal to pi minus ax, and now dividing both sides by b we get y equal to pi over b minus a by bx. So pi over b is the intercept, that is the vertical intercept, and minus a by b is the slope of the isoprofit line, that is the objective function. Minus sign indicates that this will be a downward sloping line. अब इसी को ये हमने general form में ये procedure जो किया है, we are going to perform the same procedure on our objective function which is given in this problem, and it is pi is equal to 12x plus 9y, and solving for y and rewriting our objective function in the slope intercept form, we can write y equal to pi by 9 minus 4 by 3x, और यहाँ पे आप देखें कि जो इसका y intercept है, that is the vertical intercept is equal to pi by 9 and the slope of the objective function is minus 4 by 3. जैसे कि मैंने पहले कहा कि यहाँ पे जो आइसोप्रॉफिट लाइंस हैं, इस स्लाइड में आप नेक्स्ट देख सकते हैं कि आइसोप्रॉफिट लाइंस जो हैं वो ड्रॉ की हुई हैं, और these isoprofit lines are the successive higher isoprofit lines. As we move upward towards right, we find higher and higher isoprofit lines, which are indicated by the profit levels of $36, $72, $108, and the highest one is $144. अब ये हमने किस तरह से ड्रॉ की हैं? Since we have already found the slope of the isoprofit line, look at the first one. You can see that the vertical intercept is 4 and the horizontal intercept is 3. So इनकी जो रेशियो है 4 to 3, उसी तरह से हमने इनको सक्सेसिव जो आइसोप्रॉफिट लाइंस हैं उनको ड्रॉ किया है. The next one you can see is its vertical intercept is 8 and its horizontal intercept is 6. So when we simplify 8 by 6, the result is again 4 by 3. Similarly, the next higher isoprofit line, its intercepts are 12 and 9. 12 by 9 is again 4 by 3. And similarly 16 by 12 again 4 by 3. So you can see the slope of all these isoprofit lines is the same, that is 4 by 3. तो इनकी स्लोप बिल्कुल एक है, एग्जैक्टली सिमिलर है, आइडेंटिकल है, इसलिए आप देख सकते हैं that all these isoprofit lines are parallel to each other. Now the important point that we have to consider here is that we have said that the optimal solution is one of the corner points, and in this case this corner point, as you can see, is the point where one of the highest possible isoprofit line is touching the feasible region at point M. So यहाँ पे हम कह सकते हैं that this is the optimal solution, since at this point the boundary of the feasible region and a corner point which is M, it is touching the highest possible isoprofit curve. और यहाँ पे इस isoprofit curve पे the constant profit that the firm will earn is equal to $108. In order to determine the values of x and y at this point, we can use a simple trick, that is we can solve these constraints simultaneously, considering them as equations. For instance, here we can see that these are the first and this is the intersection of first and second constraint. अब constraint 1 और constraint 2 को हमने simultaneously जब solve किया, the result is x equal to 6 and y equal to 4. Visually भी हम वहाँ पे देख सकते हैं फिगर में कि ये जो point M है, जहाँ पे जो highest possible isoprofit line जो है वो touch कर रही है एक corner point को, that is point M. तो visually भी हम वहाँ पे देख सकते हैं that x is equal to 6 and y is equal to 4. लेकिन in order to be sure and to determine the exact value, because we have said कि जो यहाँ पे x और y हैं, they can take any value because they are considered to be continuous. तो इसलिए हो सकता है कि हमारी जो value हो, it is let's say 6.5 or 6.1. In order to determine the exact value, what we do here is that we solve these constraints simultaneously and we get the exact value, which is x equal to 6 and y equal to 4. This means that by producing 6 units of product x and 4 units of product y, the firm maximizes its profit, which is equal to $108 in this case. So this was the graphical solution of this problem. As I said earlier, that we can use here another an algebraic solution. Algebraic solution इसी problem का जो है वो हम आपको next slide में आप देखेंगे कि उसके लिए हम we will compare all the points, all the corner points. यहाँ पे जो corner points हैं, first of all we'll evaluate those corner points, that is the ordered pair which they are presenting, and then we'll see we will substitute those corner points into our objective function and compare those compare the results of the solution. और इसमें हम फिर जो है compare करने के बाद देखेंगे कि highest जो profit है वो कौन सा point दे रहा है. Now, in order to solve the problem algebraically, we have to introduce another concept which is called dummy variables. Dummy variables are two types, that is slack variables and surplus variables. In case of maximization problem, we use the term slack variables, and in case of minimization problem, we use the term surplus variables. Collectively, they are called dummy variables. So, यहाँ पे first of all we have to see what is a slack variable. Standard form requires that all constraints be in the form of equations, and this can be converted into an equation by introducing a slack variable. A slack variable is equal to or less than constraint to convert it to an equation that is equal to. A slack variable represents unused resources. A slack variable contributes nothing to the objective function value. The slack for less than or equal to constraint is the difference between the right hand side of an equation and the value of the left hand side after substituting the optimal values of the decision variables. The slack represents the amount of unused units of the right hand side resources. We have said that the slack variable is the difference between the right hand side and the left hand side. This means that we convert a linear inequality of the form equal to or less than into an equation by adding a slack variable. क्योंकि देखें अगर हम equation जो है वो balanced होती है and the two sides are equal, but here we are considering an inequality of the form equal to or less than. This means that the left hand side is less than the right hand side. अगर हम left hand side पे कुछ add करेंगे जो कि दोनों equation दोनों sides को बराबर कर दे, तो वो आपका slack variable होगा. जैसे कि अगर आप सोच सकते हैं कि जो स्केल है बैलेंस, उसमें अगर आप मेजर कर रहे हैं एप्पल्स, तो उसमें एक साइड पे अगर आपने 2 kg वेट रखा हुआ है और एप्पल्स जो हैं वो कम हैं, तो उसमें आप कुछ और मज़ीद जो एप्पल्स जो हैं वो डालेंगे ताकि दोनों साइड्स जो हैं वो इक्वल हो जाएं. दैट इज़ व्हाट इज़ द स्लैक वेरिएबल. यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं कि हमारे प्रॉब्लम में जो कंस्ट्रेंट है, द फर्स्ट कंस्ट्रेंट इज़ फॉर इनपुट ए, द सेकेंड इज़ फॉर इनपुट बी एंड द थर्ड इज़ फॉर इनपुट सी. The first constraint for input A is given as 4x plus 2y is equal to or less than 32. Now, converting this constraint into an equation, we can rewrite this constraint as 4x plus 2y plus SA is equal to 32, where SA is the slack variable for constraint A. Now, if slack is equal to 0, तो हम कह सकते हैं कि दोनों साइड्स में if slack variable SA is equal to 0, then this would imply that 4x plus 2y is exactly equal to 32. तो इसका यहाँ पे जो है इकोनॉमिक मीनिंग उसका क्या होगा, that this would imply that all this resource, if let's say this 32 is presenting labor hours, then the firm has used all these 32 labor hours. ये exhaust किया है firm ने, और यहाँ पे कोई भी unused labor hours जो है वो नहीं है. If on the other hand slack variable SA is equal to, let's say the firm is producing 5 units of X and 5 units of Y, तो अगर हम substitute करेंगे, we will get 4 multiplied by 5 is equal to 20 plus 2 multiplied by 5, 10, 30. So on the left hand side we have 30 plus SA equal to 32. This means that SA is equal to 32 minus 30, that is 2. तो इसका ये मतलब होगा कि हमारे पास 32 और लेबर आवर्स अवेलेबल थे, and the firm has used only 30 labor hours. The remaining 2 they have remained unused. So this is the slack on the part of the firm. तो ये slack variable इस सूरत में हम ये कह सकते हैं कि जो first constraint था, that is not a binding constraint. If the value of the slack variable is equal to 0, this means this indicates that the firm has utilized all this resource. Total यहाँ पे जो resource थी, जो भी उनके पास input ये A है, अगर हम labor hour इसको कह रहे हैं, तो सारे labor hours जो हैं वो fully exhaust हुए हैं in the production of product X and product Y. If on the other hand, as we have just now explained, that slack variable is equal to some positive value, this would imply that all the labor hours have not been utilized and this constraint is not binding. अगर slack variable की value जो है it is equal to 0, in that case it will be a binding constraint. Now we have just now found the solution, the optimal solution to this problem using the graphical method, and there we have concluded that the firm maximizes its profit when it is producing 6 units of X and 4 units of Y. अगर हम optimal values यहाँ पे substitute करें into this constraint, we will get 4 multiplied by 6, that is 24, plus 2 multiplied by 4, that is 8. So 24 plus 8 plus SA is equal to 32. In this case, actually SA is equal to 0. That is, SA is equal to 32 minus 32. Therefore, it is equal to 0. ये आप स्क्रीन पे देख सकते हैं, हमने ये कैलकुलेशंस जो हैं की हुई हैं. दैट इज एट द ऑप्टिमल पॉइंट विच इज इन आवर केस ग्राफिकली दिस पॉइंट वाज पॉइंट M, और इस पॉइंट पे हमने ये कंक्लूड किया था हमारा जो ऑप्टिमल सोल्यूशन था दैट वाज इक्वल टू x इक्वल टू 6 एंड y इक्वल टू 4 एंड द maximum profit that the firm earned by producing this product mix was equal to 108. तो इसको अब हम कंस्ट्रेंट में ये ऑप्टिमल वैल्यूज जो हैं that is for x and y, we substitute these values and we'll see which constraint is binding and which constraint is non-binding. And और इसके लिए जो हमारा क्राइटेरिया है वो ये है कि अगर आपका स्लैक वेरिएबल जो है that is equal to 0, then the related or associated constraint is a binding constraint, otherwise it is non-binding. What is meant by a binding constraint and a non-binding constraint? Binding constraint वो होगा जहाँ पे हमने अभी कहा कि पूरी जो रिसोर्स आपके पास थी that has been fully utilized by the firm, and जो और इसमें ये है कि if the firm increases this constraint, this value, that is right hand side value जो है वो आपके पास input है या रिसोर्स है, अगर फर्म इसको increase करेगी it can increase its profit. On the other hand, for the non-binding constraint, already वहाँ पे unused resources जो हैं fully उनको utilize नहीं किया गया, इसलिए अगर इस resource को firm जो है इसको further बढ़ा भी देगी तो इसका there will be no impact or no effect on the value of the optimal value of the function, that is the objective function. तो इस पे this means that the profit will not increase if we increase the right hand side constraint. right hand side जो constant है constraint का, उसको अगर हम increase कर देते हैं तो उसका कोई असर जो है वो profit के ऊपर नहीं पड़ेगा. This is something we have already explained while we were discussing constraint optimization using calculus. वहाँ पे हमने economic interpretation, we have discussed the economic interpretation of lambda, and this is what we have already seen there. Okay, now coming to the second constraint, here we have x plus y plus SB equal to 10, that is the slack here is added. This constraint is now converted into an equation, and we can see here that when we substitute the optimal values of x and y into this constraint, we get x is equal to 6, y is equal to 4. So 6 plus 4 plus SB is equal to 10, and therefore SB is equal to 10 minus 10, that is 0. This means that the first and second constraint for input A and input B both are binding constraints because the firm has utilized all the available input. जो भी units available थे उनको fully utilize किया गया है, क्योंकि हम देख सकते हैं कि हमारे पास जो slack variable हैं both SA and SP are equal to 0. Now look at the third constraint. The third constraint is of the form. The constraint is 3y equal to or less than 21. Now we convert it into an equation by adding this slack variable 3y plus SC is equal to 21, and when we substitute here, यहाँ पे x हमने जैसे पहले भी कहा था that this input is not required in the production of x, so actually it is 0x. जो x का coefficient है that is 0, so obviously we do not write here 0x, but it is obvious that x is not x के लिए जो production के लिए यहाँ पे ये जो input है this is not being used. Okay, so we substitute the optimal value of y only here, and we get the result y is equal to 4 in the optimal solution. So 3 multiplied by 4 plus SC is equal to 21. Therefore we can see here that SC, that is the slack variable for input C, is equal to 21 minus 12 equal to 9. So यहाँ पे this here we can see that the total units available to the firm of input C were equal to 21. Only 12 have been utilized. 9 जो units हैं, they have remained unused. So here we can see the slack SC is equal to a positive value, which means that this constraint is non-binding. और अगर यहाँ पे 21 की बजाय इसको इंक्रीज भी कर दिया जाए 22 या 23, तो फर्म जो है उसके प्रॉफिट पे इसका कोई असर नहीं पड़ेगा. जैसे कि हमने पहले कहा कि जो नॉन बाइंडिंग कंस्ट्रेंट है, जहाँ पे स्लैक वेरिएबल जो है उसकी वैल्यू जो है इट इज़ अदर देन it's not equal to 0, it has a positive value, this would imply that the constraint in question is a non-binding constraint. So in the next slide you can see the corner point solution. Corner point solution, we have here included all the corners including the point of origin just to complete our picture. Here you can see that in the first column we have all the corner points, that is 0, the point of origin, N, M, L and K, and the values of X. Next column में value of X जो है और Y. At these corner points, obviously at the point of origin the value of X and Y is equal to 0, and substituting this value of X and Y into our objective function, which was equal to 12X plus 9Y, the result will be profit is equal to $0. Now look at the second point, which is point N. At point N, X is equal to 8 and Y is equal to 0. Substituting these values of X and Y into our objective function, the result is 96. So this means at this point the firm can earn $96. Profit जो है वो $96 है. Point M, which is our optimal point, at this point the value of X is 6, value of Y is 4, and substituting the optimal ordered pair into our objective function, we get the profit which is equal to $108. At point L, the value of X is 3, the value of Y is 7, and again by substituting we get the profit which is equal to $99. Or point K जो है, that is the point where X is equal to 0 and Y is equal to 7, और यहाँ पे जब हम इनको substitute करेंगे we get the profit which is equal to $63. So when we compare all these points, we can see that clearly point M is giving the firm the optimal solution, that is the product mix of X equal to 6 and Y equal to 4 is the point where the firm maximizes its profit subject to all these constraints, that is constraint A, B and C, and non-negativity constraint. We have now we have solved this problem both graphically and algebraically, and we have seen that the result is the same. और graphically भी हमने देखा था कि point M was the point where the feasible region, one of the corner points of the feasible region, which is at the boundary of the feasible region, that was touching the highest possible the profit line or iso profit line, और वहाँ पे हमने graphically ये जो था solution ये solve किया था, find किया था, और यहाँ पे जो है algebraically we have found the same solution. Next we will be considering a minimization problem. As far as the formulation of the problem is concerned, the solution is concerned, the procedure and the steps are similar. Assuming that we have already identified the objective function, the set of constraints and the non-negativity constraints, next you can see on screen the problem, which is to be here. We are given the problem which is to be minimized, that is Z is equal to 6x1 plus 3x2 subject to two constraints, that is 2x1 plus 4x2 greater than or equal to 16 pounds, and this is the second constraint is 4x1 plus 3x2 equal to or greater than 24 pounds, and the non-negativity constraints is the same, that is x1, x2, the choice variables or the decision variables are positive. The problem here, in this case, the problem that the firm faces is that the firm is producing two types of fertilizers, that is fertilizer 1, type 1 और type 2, और इसके लिए जो constraints हैं firm के, वो हैं फर्म के पास एक जो इनपुट्स हैं यहाँ पे नाइट्रोजन और फॉस्फेट्स, और इसके लिए जो कंस्ट्रेंट है फर्म के पास, फर्स्ट कंस्ट्रेंट है इन ऑर्डर टू प्रोड्यूस 1 यूनिट ऑफ टाइप 1 फर्टिलाइजर इट कैन यूज 2 यूनिट्स ऑफ नाइट्रोजन for X1 that is type 1 and 4 units of nitrogen for type 2 fertilizer. और इसके पास जो total available amount है नाइट्रोजन की that is 16 pounds, और firm जो है that can use 16 pounds or greater than that. तो यहाँ पे जो constraint है वो हमारा as far as the minimization problem or the maximization problem is concerned, here the constraints are of the different form. The reason is that in case of maximization the constraint was less than or equal to और वहाँ पे हमारे पास resources हैं, that is the firm can use that resource, that is the less than or equal to, यहाँ पे यानी कि exactly वो रिसोर्स को उतने ही अमाउंट यूज़ कर सकती है या उससे कम भी यूज़ कर सकती है, लेकिन यहाँ पे रिक्वायरमेंट है, द मिनिमम रिक्वायरमेंट इज़ दैट इट शुड यूज़ 16 पाउंड्स, ओके, एंड लेकिन इससे ज़्यादा भी कर सकती है। और यहाँ पे जैसे आप देख सकते हैं कि जो सेकंड कंस्ट्रेंट है वो फॉस्फेट है, और इनपुट रिक्वायरमेंट यहाँ पे जो उसकी रिक्वायरमेंट है, द मिनिमम रिक्वायरमेंट इज़ दैट इट कैन यूज़ 24 पाउंड्स ऑफ फॉस्फेट to produce X1 and X2 that is type 1 fertilizer and type 2 fertilizer. तो यहाँ पे जो type 1 fertilizer है, in order to produce 1 unit of type 1 it needs 4 units of phosphates, and in order to produce type 2 fertilizer 3 units of phosphates are required. As far as the problem of minimization and maximization is concerned, we can see that the difference is between the form of the कंस्ट्रेंट्स, जो इनक्वालिटी है उसके जो कंस्ट्रेंट्स हैं देयर डायरेक्शन इज़ डिफरेंट, क्योंकि वहाँ पे फर्म के पास रिसोर्सेज हैं जिनको फर्म जो है वो फुली यूटिलाइज कर सकती है या उनसे कम भी यूटिलाइज कर सकती है, लेकिन यहाँ पे जब हम बात कर रहे हैं दैट इज़ हियर वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द मिनिमम रिक्वायरमेंट. सो मिनिमम रिक्वायरमेंट is in this case for the two constraints 16 and 24 pounds, that is respectively for the nitrogen and phosphate. तो मिनिमम रिक्वायरमेंट ये है विच द फर्म हैज़ टू फुलफिल दैट, बिकॉज दैट इज़ द मिनिमम रिक्वायरमेंट, और इससे ज़्यादा भी वो कर सकती है. तो इसमें जैसे कि आप देख सकते हैं कि यहाँ पे जो फीजिबल रीजन है दैट विल ऑल्सो बी डिफरेंट. As far as the non-negativity constraint is concerned, it is the same, because again we are not talking about negative inputs or negative outputs. So the solution, in order to be meaningful, to get a meaningful solution which is economically feasible, we impose this restriction of non-negativity on our choice variables. So in this slide you can see that we have already plotted here the two constraints. Since in this case we have only two constraints, the first constraint and the second constraint, using the similar procedure that we have already used for maximization problem, जहाँ पे हमने जो है इनको exactly draw करने के लिए we have found the intercepts, that is the y-intercept and the x-intercept, that is assuming that okay, if x is not being produced, in this case it is x1 and x2, that is x1 is presenting type 1 fertilizer and x2 is presenting type 2 fertilizer. So अगर x1 जो है that is type 1 fertilizer बिल्कुल produce नहीं कर रही firm, तो वो point हमने लिया है, और फिर दूसरा point when type 2 fertilizer is not being produced, so that we can easily get the x-intercept and the y-intercept. In this case obviously it is the x1 and x2 intercepts, but vertical or horizontal intercepts जो हैं उनको हम find out करते हैं. We join these 2 points and we get the 2 constraints. So in this case have only 2 constraints. You can see these constraints on screen. Constraint 1 and constraint 2, they are drawn as equations, and in the next slide you can see that we have identified the feasible solution area. Since here the inequality, the form of the inequality is equal to or greater than, therefore you can see that all the points on the constraint equation or lying towards the right of the constraint equation that are included in the region of feasible solutions. और यहाँ पे जो shaded area है वो आप देख सकते हैं, this is included in the region of feasible solutions or simply the feasible space. What was the next step? The next step was to incorporate the objective function. Since it is a cost minimization problem, therefore here the objective function is it is representing an isocost curve. तो isocost curve हो या isoprofit line हो या isoprofit curve हो, एटलीस्ट हमें यहाँ पे दो या दो से ज़्यादा जो हैं ये कर्व जो हैं ड्रॉ करने चाहिए, सो दैट वी कैन ईजिली सी द डायरेक्शन. In case of isoprofit lines, obviously the direction was towards right, upwards. जब वो move करेंगे हम तो we'll get higher and higher profits. लेकिन यहाँ पे जो isocost lines है या isocost lines जो हैं, यहाँ पे direction क्या होगी? यहाँ पे direction, क्योंकि हम जो है we are going to minimize the function, therefore the direction will be towards left. तो left side पे जैसे ही हम move करते हैं isocost curves को, तो आपके जो है हमारे पास वैल्यू जो है आइसोकॉस्ट की मिनिमम आती है. इन दिस केस वी लाइक प्रीवियसली इन द केस ऑफ मैक्सिमाइजेशन प्रॉब्लम वी कैन डिटरमिन द स्लोप ऑफ द, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी हैव टू डिटरमिन द स्लोप ऑफ द ऑब्जेक्टिव फंक्शन इन ऑर्डर टू ड्रॉ द ऑब्जेक्टिव फंक्शन, क्योंकि हम उसको देख के जो है, जैसे मैंने पहले कहा कि हम उसको इक्वेशन को प्लॉट कर सकते हैं by using predetermined profits in case of maximization, or by using predetermined costs, as we have here predetermined cost which is equal to $24. In this case we can see that again the corner points, the solution is on the one of the corner points. The corner points that we have here in this diagram are point A, point B and C. Point A is the intersection of one of the constraints and vertical axis, and point B is the intersection of the two constraints, that is constraint 1 and 2, and point C is obtained by the intersection of one of the constraint and horizontal axis. इसमें जैसे ये points हैं, इसमें हम values as far as the 2 points, that is A and C, we can clearly see that A is equal to 0, 8 and C is equal to 8, 0. That is the ordered pair. 0, 8 is presenting the point A, and ordered pair 8, 0 is presenting point C. As far as point B is concerned, this can easily, we can see here that यहाँ से हम directly value जो है visually भी हम देख सकते हैं, लेकिन इसको exactly determine करने के लिए, जैसे मैंने पहले कहा, we can solve the two constraints. Since in this case we have only two constraints, we solve these constraints as equations simultaneously and we get the exact solution values. Graphically we can see that the solution point here is the isocost line is touching point A, and that is the minimum isocost line which is touching one of the points of the feasible region, and that is a corner point A. At this point the firm is producing no bags of the type 1 fertilizer, and 8 bags of type 2 fertilizer is being produced. So 0 bags of the type 1 fertilizer at this point A, and X2, that is the second type of fertilizer, 8 bags of this fertilizer is produced. And using this input mix, the firm can minimize its cost, which is equal to $24. Now we have solved this problem graphically, तो इसी को हम जो है अब algebraically भी solve कर सकते हैं, that is using the same corner point solution method by comparing the points A, B and C. The solution values यहाँ पे हम जो है A, B और C को जैसे हमने पहले टेबल में किया है, उसी तरह से corner point solution यहाँ पे भी हम जो है इसका algebraic solution भी आपको अभी explain करते हैं. और इसके लिए जैसे मैंने पहले कहा that in case of that here we have to incorporate the dummy variables. In case of maximization problem, we add slack variables, and in this case, since the constraints are of the form greater than or equal to, तो यहाँ पे जो है dummy variable which is called surplus variable, in this case here we will subtract the surplus variable from the left hand side. The surplus for greater than or equal to constraint is the difference between the right hand side of an equation and the value of the left hand side after substituting the optimal values of the decision variables. Here we have the two constraints of nitrogen and phosphate. So subtracting the surplus variable from the nitrogen constraint, we get to x1 plus 4x2 minus s1 is equal to 16. और phosphate का जो constraint है वहाँ पे हम subtract करेंगे s2, indicating that it is the surplus variable for the second constraint. जब हम constraint ये dummy variables जब हम add या subtract करते हैं तो वो हम we also add them into our objective function with a zero coefficient. Since we are using a zero coefficient, therefore the objective function will remain the same. इसका जो है इस पे कोई असर नहीं होगा, लेकिन in order to give a complete picture, what we need to do is that we add or subtract. वहाँ पे भी हम जो surplus variables या slack variables in case of maximization problem, we also include them in our objective function. Looking at our nitrogen constraint, we can see that this is solved as 2 multiplied by 0 plus 4 multiplied by 8 minus S1 is equal to 16. So that S1 is equal to, when we solve it, we get S1 is equal to 16, which means that S1, this surplus variable, is not equal to 0. In other words, this constraint is non-binding constraint. It is not a binding constraint. तो इस तरह से जैसे हमने पहले explain किया है कि जब slack या surplus variable जो है it is not equal to 0, in that case the constraint in question is a non-binding constraint. Now look at the second one, that is the phosphate constraint. In this case, when we substitute the optimal values of the two types of fertilizers, type 1 का हमने कहा है जो हमारा optimal point है वहाँ पे firm जो है it is not producing type 1 fertilizer, it is only producing 8 bags of type 2 fertilizer. So substituting this ordered pair 0, 8 into our second constraint, we get phosphate constraint 4 multiplied by 0, that is 4x1 plus 3x2 minus s2 is equal to 24. और यहाँ पे जब हम substitute करेंगे x1 equal to 0 and x2 equal to 8, we get s2 equal to 24 minus 24, that is 0. So the second constraint is a binding constraint. In this problem, we have seen that the first constraint is a non-binding constraint, while the second is a binding constraint. Now just like the maximization problem, we are going to solve this problem by using the algebraic method, that is corner point solution. और screen पे आप देख सकते हैं corner point solution में we have compared all 3 points, corner points, that is A, B and C. In the first column, the corner points are given. In the second column, the order which presents these corner points, those are given. और third में हमने जो हमारा जो objective function है, that is cost function which is to be minimized, that is given, and in the last column the cost is given. So point A पे, look at point A first of all. तो यहाँ पे हम देखते हैं कि point A पे जो है type 1 fertilizer that is equal to 0 and type 2 fertilizer जो है वो that is equal to 8. Substituting these values into our objective function which is a cost function, तो हमारे पास जो यहाँ पे cost है that is equal to $24. Point B is obtained by solving the two constraints simultaneously, and we get that x1 is equal to 4.8 and x2 is equal to 1.6 at this point. Substituting these values of x1 and x2 into the cost function, we get cost equal to $33.6 at this point. Point C, 80. Point C, in this case type 1 error is produced, 8 bags of type 1 errors are produced, 0 bag of type 2 fertilizer is produced here, and substituting these values of x1 and x2 into the cost function, this results in $48. So you can see that when we compare all these 3 points, we can see that the firm minimizes its costs at point A, where the firm is producing no bags of type 1 fertilizer and it is producing 8 bags of type 2 fertilizer, and the cost is $24. जब हम इनको कंपेयर करते हैं तो हम क्लियरली देख सकते हैं at type B the cost is $33.6, whereas at point C the cost is $48. Therefore, this is the point which we have shown graphically too, that this is giving the firm an optimal solution of the problem. और वहाँ पे भी हमने देखा था that the lowest ISO cost curve was touching this corner point A, and there the firm is not producing type 1 fertilizer, it is only producing type 2 fertilizer 8 bags of type 2 fertilizers. So we have solved this problem both graphically and algebraically, and we have minimized the cost function. Next, we are going to consider some anomalies, that is, there are some irregular linear programming problems where it is not possible to find a unique optimal solution. And there are 3 possibilities. One is multiple optimal solution, 2 is infeasible solutions, and 3 is unbounded solutions. और इन सब के लिए we are going to explain these 3 types where we cannot get the optimal unique optimal solution, and we'll also show you the graphical representation. First of all, it is the multiple optimal solution. This is also called alternate optimal solution. As you can see on screen, that one of the constraints is it has the same slope as that of the objective function. तो ऑब्जेक्टिव फंक्शन की जो स्लोप है और वन ऑफ द कंस्ट्रेंट दे हैव द सेम स्लोप. और यहाँ पे जो 2 पॉइंट्स हैं, यू कैन सी दैट 2 पॉइंट्स, दैट इज पॉइंट बी एंड सी, दे आर फॉलोइंग on the objective function. In fact, the entire line segment BC is on the objective function too. So this is part of the boundary, but here we have 2 corner points, that is B and C, or B and C and this entire line segment, it is parallel to the objective function. तो यहाँ पे जो slope है objective function की और इस constraint की वो बिल्कुल एक है, और हम देख सकते हैं कि ये पूरा जो entire जो line segment है, ये जो है हमारे optimal ये objective function के साथ जो है touch हो रही है. तो इसका मतलब है कि यहाँ पे हम कह सकते हैं कि B और C जो points हैं, there the optimal solution is the same, or we can say that here the number of solution is not unique. इनमें दोनों में tie हो रही है. यहाँ पे जो solution optimal जो value है objective function की, that will be the same at point B and C. In fact, it will be the same along the entire line segment BC. Therefore, we can say that here we have a case of multiple optimal solutions or an infinite number of optimal solutions. The second one is an infeasible problem. In this case, as you can see on screen, that we have a mixture of constraints. That is, one of the constraint is of the form equal to or less than, and the other constraint is of the form equal to greater than. As a result, here you can see that the feasible region is not defined. Therefore, it is called infeasible problem. तो feasible region यहाँ पे defined नहीं हो सकता, क्योंकि कुछ constraints हमारे हैं जो एक constraint है, as you can see on screen, that one of the constraint is of the form equal to or less than, जहाँ पे आप point A पे आप देख सकते हैं. और इसके बाद जो दूसरे constraints हैं 2, they are of the form equal to or greater than. तो यहाँ पे हमारे पास जो empty space है जो point B पे आप देख सकते हैं. This means that this feasible region is not a convex set. In a convex set, when we pick any 2 points and join those points by a straight line, all those points on the line segment fall in the convex set. लेकिन यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं कि अगर हम यहाँ पे point A और point C को join करें तो feasible region में सारे points जो हैं वो fall नहीं कर रहे. This means that in this case the feasible region is not defined. Therefore, solution to this problem is not possible. The third possibility is an unbounded problem. यहाँ पे जो है in this case what happens is that the objective function increases indefinitely. Normally this applies to the maximization problem. As you can see on screen by the arrowheads that the profit is increasing unbounded. तो यहाँ पे कोई उस पर limitation नहीं है उसकी value के ऊपर. So this means that in this case too we cannot find a solution. So we have considered here 3 possible cases where the unique optimal solution is not possible, and these are multiple optimal solution, infeasible solution, and unbounded solution. With that, we come to an end of this session. Thank you. Khuda Hafiz.